We previously derived the equilibrium equations for a continuous body using Newton's first law, and we also derived the following stresses for the torsion of a non-circular shaft. So in general, if we have the following section and we cut out an element, so what we have is a shear stress tau that acts on the z face in the x direction, and the other shear stress is tau zy, which acts in the y direction. So now if we eliminate the zero stresses, so we don't have an axial stress in our torsion problem for a section subjected to a torque, and our shear stresses in the xy plane were also zero. So our first equilibrium equation is satisfied because tau zx does not depend on z. And similarly, the second equilibrium equation is satisfied because tau zy also does not depend on z. Now this third equation is still difficult to solve if we substituted these shear stresses directly. So we introduce the idea of a stress function, which is a function of x and y. And note that this shear stress is equal to its complementary shear stress, and similar to this one. So if we let tau zx equal the partial derivative of the stress function with respect to y, and tau zy to be the negative of the partial derivative of the stress function with respect to x. So if we substitute these into this equilibrium equation, we have the partial with respect to x of d phi dy, and then minus the partial with respect to y of d phi dx. And by Schwarz's theorem, if the stress function is continuous and differentiable, then these derivatives are symmetric. So the equilibrium equation will be satisfied. So now if we differentiate the first equation with respect to y, we get g theta by the partial with respect to y of the first derivative of the warping function minus 1, and we differentiate the second equation with respect to x, so we get g theta by the partial with respect to x of the partial of the warping function with respect to y plus 1. And now if we subtract this equation from the first, then what we get is the second partial derivative of phi with respect to x plus a second partial derivative of phi with respect to y. And then by the symmetry of these derivatives, they'll cancel. So on the right hand side, we get minus 2 by the shear modulus by the rate of twist. And this here is Laplace's equation for our torsion problem. And now we need to ensure that the boundary condition is satisfied such that the shear stress vector is tangent to the boundary to get a zero complementary shear stress on the free surface. So noting that the radial vector from the centroid of the section plus the change in r is equal to r dash, where r is the x coordinate in the horizontal direction plus the y coordinate in the vertical direction. So therefore differentiating r with respect to s along the boundary of the section, we get dx ds in the horizontal direction plus dy ds in the vertical direction. So therefore the normal to the surface can be obtained by the condition that the dot product between a normal vector and a differential radial vector is 0, such that they're perpendicular to each other. So this gives the horizontal component of the normal vector multiplied by dx ds, and then plus ny by dy ds is equal to 0. So therefore nx is dy ds and ny is minus dx ds to satisfy that equation, which you can visualize up here, where we have dr and the normal vector. So our boundary condition is that the shear stress must be perpendicular to the normal vector at the boundary. And now if we substitute for the shear stress in the horizontal direction, which is d phi dy, using the stress function, and then multiply by nx, which is dy ds, then we have the component of the shear stress in the y direction, which is minus d phi dx, multiplied by minus dx ds, gives a positive result. So we have d phi dx by dx ds, and that's equal to 0. So this here is the total derivative of phi with respect to s. So this means that our stress function at the boundary is constant. And in general, we take phi at the boundary to be 0, which has been shown to be generally accurate.